That era is over. The Trump EPA is committed to total transparency. As a result, I tasked my team at EPA to compile a list of everything we know about contrails and geoengineering for the purpose of releasing it to you now publicly. In other words, I want you to know everything I know about these topics and without any exception. Instead of simply dismissing these questions and concerns as baseless conspiracies, we're meeting them head on. We did the legwork, looked at the science, consulted agency experts, and pulled in relevant outside information to put these online resources together. Everything we know about contrails to solar geoengineering will be in there. That means anyone who reads through this information will know as much about these topics as I do as EPA administrator. To anyone who's ever looked up to the streaks in the sky and asked, what the heck is going on? Or seen headlines about private actors and even governments looking to blot out the sun in the name of stopping global warming, we've endeavored to answer all of your questions at the links on your screen. In fact, EPA shares many of the same concerns when it comes to potential threats to human health and the environment, especially from solar geoengineering activities. The enthusiasm for experiments that would pump pollutants into the high atmosphere has set off alarm bells here at the Trump EPA. Prior to now, EPA has never been this proactive to raise awareness about concerns with geoengineering and to stop this activity from being scaled up. This is what it looks like when government actually listens to the will of the people and doesn't try to squash it. You can always trust this administration and this EPA to take your concerns seriously, answer your questions honestly, and carry out the will of voters with integrity.
Okay, I'm going to come back to this article. And actually, this one, I'll keep going. On the Burning Platform, he talks about Trump Chemtrails Task Force exposes DARPA plot. So this article is saying that the chemtrail task force was detonated, and RFK Jr. confirms that it's a DARPA program. So now I want to come back to you and talk about that a little bit more, because he sounded really good and he actually looked very innocent, but we're so used to watching wolves put on sheep's clothing and talk about this stuff. So whether we can trust it or not, a couple of thoughts that I have are like, right off the gate, he said contrails. And there's no way that a contrail is a streak across the entire sky.
Yeah.
We've shown, everybody kind of knows what an actual frozen condensation trail is. And it really is maybe 3-4 seconds behind the aircraft, and it evaporates as fast as it's released. And so the tail is really short, but we're seeing stuff even now in Southern Cal. Like, I think, Michael, they're doing even a new form of spraying where it's just obscure. They're not real definite trails anymore. You can see, but it's very obscure. It's not real defined. And it's like, then it settles to the ground and it's really heavy. And in the clinic, we're using the heck out of the Intuostat Cardio NF, helping people overcome this stuff in their lungs and tonsils and stuff.
That's good. Yeah, I've been hitting that stuff pretty hard lately too, because I feel it in my lungs. So yeah, they chemtrail the crap out of this guys here.
I was looking. It looks like it's a little hazy behind you. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been chemtrailing pretty good.
Yeah.
And I'm out in the environment a lot, so it does have an effect on you, especially at altitude, because you don't have as much atmosphere, separating you from the crap in the air. I guess, I don't know, but it seems like the less atmosphere that's there, it's more easily absorbable. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of all the supplements from the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, makes a difference.
Yeah, and one of the ones that I really love, and I haven't talked about it for a while, is the fermented beets and the oxygen transport, not just from the nitric oxide, but also it's rich in iron sulfate, and so helping the hemoglobin to carry oxygen better. And I love it for
Oh,
that.
that's good to know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm doubling down on that stuff now.
I have been too. I'm weirding
I've
out
been
on
doing like juicing with beets and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know it's really good for you, but that's good because you get the the supplement, the beet supplement. So that's good. The NO, nitric oxide, it's huge.
Huge.
So yeah, that's I know a little bit of this stuff, but you know a lot more. So it's good when we get on the chat about this. So it does make a difference.
I love to be able to test it in the body. You know, I've sort of become less science minded because of the biophotonic dimension and just listening to the body more. Although it's very scientific, it's just not that well exposed. You know, we could take like a tooth, for example, or a kidney, or like we're talking about the spleen when we talk about the iron in the blood transport, that when the spleen, if we have like in our clinic, for example, in our inventory, if we have like 250 different superfoods with their own resonating frequencies, then we bring the beet in, and it may be the only one that brings coherence to the spleen, a lot of times the circulatory tree, thymus, but especially the spleen, where it's rich in that, just rich in blood, and a lot of infection can show up there. So it's incredible. And you bring it into that field and then you see it. So then the science about it is, you and I could sit there and all day for months and months and get the same result over and over and over again without any error ever. So in that repetitive science model, it's extremely scientific, 100% accurate without ever fail. Yeah, so it's very beautiful. So the body becomes its own sort of master mentor, and we're just listeners.
Very nice. Yep.
Yeah. So back to the EPA guy. This is definitely part of the war. And so I want to see, of course, more than just talk about it. Exposure is huge. The unveiling is huge. The lifting of the skirt is huge. But I'm still like, where are you guys? Where are you at the sheriff's department? You're watching this stuff, and now you see the unveiling, and you're still like not doing arrests. You're still pulling over, arresting people who can't afford registration tags. When now I'm going to share my screen again because we've been down this before. The FBI's page at Public Corruption says the FBI is the nation's top criminal investigative priority. A threat to our national security is this thing right here. And you and I have been calling it, you've been calling it forever, that it's the deep state. So I'm coming back to you. But Public Corruption, the FBI says it's the nation's top criminal threat, but no arrests. And sheriffs.
Yeah, because the FBI is corrupt. This is a problem a lot of people don't understand, and I want to clarify it. So we have Dan Bongino, and we have Pam Bondi, and we have Cash Patel, and RFK Jr. They're one person that's good in organization where almost everybody has been put in there that is bad. You really think they're going to have an impact? Come on.
Yeah. You know what? That's
going to take time, guys. And it's we the people.
Yes.
We the people that really get this going. So if you're bitching and you're not involved, you're wrong. So if you're just bitching about this, you're worthless because you're basically causing problems, and you're helping the deep state. You're helping the deep state cause, negative energy out there. So you got to get involved. It's we, the people. So just like that one guy on the chemtrailing stuff, he says, we're giving you this information. We're giving you this information. We're giving you this information.
Right.
What does that mean? They're giving us information so we can act on it.
Right. We
have to do this.
Yes. So that's so critical, because for 2 or 3 generations now, maybe longer, I don't know, but we've been sitting on our hands. We want to go to the movies and not get involved.
Yeah.
And I mean, I got it. I got it. I don't really want to get involved either, but we have to go to the sheriff and we have to say, hey, it's time for you to do this. And if you're not going to do it, we're going to mandamus you to do it. And I hope it can happen. I pray that it does, because we're at that point. We don't have a choice. Our backs are up against the wall, literally, because this project is like, I'm amazed looking out your back deck going, man, you should be able to see for 100 miles at least. Yeah. And it's pretty heavy. So that's really similar to what it looks like here, except it's a little worse here. So it's really.
Yeah. In fact, let me, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. There's HARP going on right now.
Yeah. Let me see it. Oh, yeah.
See those waves?
Oh, yeah.
They're HARP in the sky.
That's big time HARP. They're splitting.
Oh, you see those eagles?
I did.
Or hawks. They just showed up. There's like, yeah, Mike's right.
That's amazing. Do you think they're trying to splatter a thunderstorm or something? Almost what it looks like. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. It's I think they want weather.
Okay.
So probably trying to stop my weather, because I'm pulling in rain. We almost had rain here yesterday. It was very close. It was on the other side in on the
western
side.
slope. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Slope. So desert side got lots of rain. It was on the slopes. We got a little bit of rain on the slopes and some of the slopes on the south side, but it didn't make it over here.
So it was down like on the Carson side? The
Carson
Virginia
side. Yep.
Gotcha. All right. Beautiful. Yeah. So we have to get involved. We really do.
So that's how you get involved. You put out there what you want to transpire.
Yeah.
Because we have that effect on the environment. And if we're getting negative, that means most of us are thinking negative. It's that simple. If we're getting positive, that means there's a majority of us thinking positive. Now they're going to try and load our consciousness because they want to direct reality. So they've done that for quite a long time.
Yeah, forever.
And we've talked about how they tell us what they're going to do.
Right.
I just saw this one thing where they were talking about all the way back in like 1913 or something like this. This guy was going back in time and he was looking at how they were talking about all these Jews were being oppressed, and 6 million, 1913, 6 million Jews. And then he goes up into the future, like 2 years later, 6 million Jews. The next article in New York Times, 6 million Jews. So keeps going forward, and it's like 6 million Jews were affected during the Holocaust. Yeah, they were front loading it. They were telling everybody what they're going to do, and then they do it. Yeah. So were there 6 million Jews affected? I don't know, but that's what they said in papers for decades before the Holocaust, before Hitler even came on the scene.
And in law, Michael, there's something about, like, if you're in a judicial setting, and if you don't object to what they announce that they're going to do, which is usually a lie, but when they announce what they're going to do and we don't object, they consider that our agreement.
Yes.
And then they go, how can you disagree, or how can you come back on us because you already had your chance? And in a judicial proceeding, if you only have like X amount of time, and at that point, then they consider it your agreement, your stipulation. So I think it's 100% the same thing when they make these announcements. And I'm not saying to sit down with your word process and write an objection to everyone, but like you were just saying, we need to do it in our spirits and with our intention. We need to do that kind of objection and even verbalize it into the, nothing goes in on deaf ears. So verbalizing it together in large and mass, I think it's significant.
Yeah.
Because like you were, you know, as you mentioned, Adam, he didn't, whatever Lucifer was doing with Eve at the moment, he and you can imagine, because in Genesis 6, he goes on to say that the fallen sons of God came and took the daughters of Adam for their wives. So they were lusting after these women. And I think that was the connection. So something about what Adam didn't do is what's still causing us problems. Like you brought it up. It's like, perfect. We have to do something. Yeah.
Yep.
Good word.
It's crazy. So if you don't get involved, like Melania Trump, and call them out because they just go around and they just keep lying, they keep spreading disinformation. They went after Melania's bank account and Barron's bank account, and of course they try to throw President Trump in prison.
Huge.
So now they've made a law that you can't come after, for political reasons, come after someone's bank account. And now, you know, with, I guess, this defamatory and false claim that Hunter Biden came out, and I guess he was on some show. And I think one group has already retracted. It says Hunter Biden states that Jeffrey Epstein introduced Melania to Trump. It lies so egregious that Melania's lawyers just successfully secured a retraction from the Daily Beast for reporting such. So Daily Beast is a rag for the deep state. So Daily Beast just got slapped on the PP, and they're like, oh, sorry. And so now we're going to probably see a retraction from it's like on YouTube. So it says Fox News Digital exclusively obtained the letter that Alejandro Brito, attorney serving as litigation counsel for the First Lady, sent to Hunter Biden and his attorney, Abby Lowell, August 6th. So they're demanding immediate retraction of the false, defamatory, disparaging, and inflammatory statements made about Mr. Trump. So you have to get involved. You have to like push back. It's a constant war against these animals, these Luciferians. If we don't, we the people. It's all we the people.
Yeah. And we haven't been doing our job.
Yeah.
And like this is incredible. This is like, we've talked about this, like this is the time. Last week we talked about that lawsuit from the family about the stillbirths connected to the COVID jab. And that was one hospital. And I'm like, one out of how many millions? Where are you dads? Like, come on. There could be, imagine even 100,000 across the country. That would be incredible, which is what it should be. And I know it's too late now, but remember when they were locking your grandmother into the hospital and intubating her and putting her on remdesivir and stuff like that? Nothing from the sheriffs. And all we did was, like you just said, we just kind of whined about it. We didn't do anything. And so if we don't do anything, we get what we don't do. We get nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get what they want to give us, and that is not good. Kind of like the Canadians. Canadians are, so some people were talking about it, and I was like, I can't imagine how they're going to pull that off, where they're going to use climate change lockdowns. And I was like, that sounds so ridiculous. Kind of like, COVID-19 lockdowns. But, they happen. So in Canada, they're locking people down because there's the possibility that there could be fires in their vicinity. They can't make these decisions themselves. They can't see that there's burning, and so they get out of there. They can't see there's smoke. They can't look on TV and see where the fires are. The fires are 150 miles away, and they're not moving rapidly in their direction. Maybe they can go out and take a walk in the woods. Not in Canada. If you do, you get a $25,000 fine.
Do something, Canadians. 25,000. That's like bigger.
Well, they've already learned the hard way what happens when you do something. They did the trucker convoy, and they destroyed everybody that was involved in that. Kind of the same thing they were doing here in America. We weren't doing a lot of protesting either after January 6th, because we saw 1,500 people go to jail.
Yep. Yeah.
And they were still working on it. I had Cindy Lou, the grandmother, on many shows. I went to her court case, and I was like, "There's no way they're going to convict this woman," and they convicted her. The day before she was supposed to go, the next day she was going to have to go report for prison. Trump came in and pardoned all the J6ers, and she didn't have to go.
Thank God.
It was that close. Yep.
That day for her. Wow.
That day. And I just had a gentleman on my show, and I actually met him when I went to Utah, going to LifeWave headquarters. This gentleman, doctor, gave saline shots to people during COVID so that they could get out of, not taking the real vaccination.
Yeah.
And they were prosecuting him. And Dr. Kirk Moore, it was less than a month ago, Pam Bondi, so everybody's saying Pam Bondi's doing nothing. She came in and threw his case out. He was facing 35 years for doing the right thing.
Yeah.
For helping people like we do, talking about it, stuff like, we got, for me, worst thing I got was they took away my YouTube channel. For him, he was going to jail for 35 years.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah. I know I beat the dead horse with this one. So as soon as somebody touches you, you become a plaintiff, become Melania. You got to sue these people because, I question, are you actually a government? So supposedly the government's coming after you. Are you actually from the government? Or are you impersonating a government official under some for-profit agency? Because in California and everywhere, it's all the same. It says that the only function of government is to protect your life, liberty, and property. That's it. That's what California says on their paperwork. So that comes into the case. So I'm confused. Are they government officials or are they working for some private for-profit group? Because here's what the highest and best interest is in California. You said you'd protect my life, liberty, and property, nothing else. That kind of makes sense, right? So we've allowed it to come to this, literally this beast, what we call Babylon. But yeah, we really keep doing stuff, you guys, even if I'm running into all kinds of sick people. So I think one of the huge things that perhaps I haven't mentioned, but you did, and talking about putting out your intention, is just praying for one another and praying for these people also as well, and putting out your intentions that are positive and true and very helpful. If that's all you can do, that's what you do.
Yeah. So I talked to at the show earlier where I had just great guests. We were talking about the arrests that are going on, and it's actually happening, and there's more arrests coming. So they're building the foundation for that. Getting everybody ready. I think there's been little bits of information that have been coming out about the election steal of 2020. There's going to be a lot more coming out, so the people are completely aware of that. But even people that are very much involved in this, even at the like Sheila Holmes, she basically gets communications from God, and she writes all these books and has all these miracles that happen to her and around her, all kind of crazy stuff. She even says that it's we, the people, that have to get involved.
Yes. Because
Trump is not going to be here for much longer, guys. It's less than 4 years left. All right. And we have a lot of work to do. We have to clean our entire country. Yes. And just like we saw with the Democrats refusing, to do what they're, elected to do in Texas, they ran to New York, they ran to Chicago. Where have I been saying to get out of the big cities? So all of these demons are going to run to these big cities, guys, and that's where they're going to hold up and fight. And it's not going to be pretty.
And they can have them.
Yeah. Well, there's good people that live in those cities, unfortunately. Some of those cities are beautiful cities, other than, the crime that's starting to build in them, the homelessness, drug addiction everywhere.
Like DC. Yeah.
Good point. So DC is the front runner of what's coming to some of these cities.
Right. Yeah. So this is house divided.
Yeah.
So for those who can do something more than your intention, I'll be putting out. It's almost drafted. It takes a lot of work. It's for the local EPA. So there's like the EPA and there's a state EPA, but we have like county. It's called the South Coast Air Quality Management District. And on their website, one of the things they talk about is that they have jurisdiction, supposedly, over aircraft emissions. Fascinating, because throughout all of aircraft history, there's really only been one aircraft emission, and that's jet fuel. But just in the last couple of years, now on California's local Southern California air quality management, one of the things listed in their supposed jurisdiction is aircraft emissions. So we're drafting a letter basically telling them this is what to do and this is what they haven't done. And because they haven't done it, they now owe the people of California, it's probably worth $1 trillion first payment, and to go into the account of escrow of the sheriffs. They can make it notorious. And along with that, it's going to go, because we can all witness watching them spray and then getting sick, that we can write an affidavit in support of arrest and attach it to that. And that goes to everywhere. The Supreme Court of California, yada, 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 EPA, California, and of course that local district. So when I'm done with that, I'm going to publish that for free, and you guys can just boilerplate it for your county and your state. Of course, change the facts to fit yours, but it'll be available on Hogan's Heroes in the future. So if you want to get active, and it will take you a while to change all the facts and your conditions and your what's actually going on in your world to fit. But yeah, I love what Melania's doing. Sue them, baby. They're gonna lose too. She's gonna wipe some fanny.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
They'll have to retract it. And if they don't, then they get sued $1 billion.
Well, a retraction is actually an admission. It's almost like, man, when you say it's like, so she's going to your brother and saying, hey, you did me wrong. Can you fix it? It still hasn't fixed it. They're just saying that they're wrong. They still have a damage, and they can sue for that damage. And I'm pretty sure they're going to continue with that lawsuit. I hope they do. Yeah.
So you got China. They're basically starting to lock people down again.
And I noticed that
making people get blood tests is pretty crazy.
Are they calling? I missed that. Thanks
It's
for bringing that up.
mosquito-borne disease.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Yeah. So, we had, the mosquitoes being released. They're releasing mosquitoes to counter the mosquitoes with the disease.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably had already been doing that. But that's, that's more of this crazy stuff that's going on out there.
Yeah, that's a great cover for them releasing more biological agents through the mosquitoes. Telling us,
Yep.
yeah, informing us what
Bill
we
Gates butter now.
And the mosquitoes here, like I don't know what they're like around you guys, but the mosquitoes here have completely changed. They're just ankle biters now. You don't get bit anywhere else except on the ankles. They hide out around the floorboards and you can't even see them. They just bite your legs. Nothing else. Mosquitoes used to fly around your ears and all that stuff.
No. Yeah.
Now it's the ankles. So I don't know how they brain damaged them, but they're incredible. They're so annoying. I just can't stand them now.
Low-level flyers now, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Little drones now. Yeah, so the CDC issues, this is a new one in the Daily Mail. CDC issues travel warnings for 5 new countries. Oh, listen to this. Over crippling, and deadly disease. Of course, they're saying this is polio is coming back. And of course, polio gives you paralysis and you're going to have to get vaccinated. Here's a picture of a little guy, in the 50s who got polio. I remember I was giving a vaccine talk at a health group. I'm going to come back to you and tell this story because it's that. So I was talking about there's really these diseases. They call diseases. These like this one is polio is a biological agent created in a lab, and it was delivered via the vaccine. I had this old guy, stand up and started screaming and cussing at me. You don't effing know. You weren't there. The vaccine saved everybody. I'm like, that's the narrative, is that they really market a benefit to us about everything while they're sticking it to us. And same thing is true with all vaccines. There has never been a vaccine that's done and accomplished anything, you guys. It's not possible. And we can talk about more in detail why that's not possible. But the first reason is there is no virus. So when they say it's a virus, they know that it's coming through the shot. But it's hard for us to imagine somebody so evil. And so we tend to stay, like, no, they wouldn't do that. We tend to stay like sheep, and we can't do that. We have to be like Navy SEAL warriors, man. Mm-hmm. Otherwise we're getting punked, and we're getting punked hard. So no doubt. Bless each other and put up the fight against the enemy. Hate that which was evil. So yeah, so it's just more of the same rhetoric coming out of the mainstream agencies that even though we want it to be, because of what Trump and the 4 are doing, the CDC is still, like you pointed out, everybody else is corrupt. Yeah. It's almost like, do you remember being in like, probably the worst is like 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, and when a substitute teacher came in, you remember abusing that teacher like crazy and getting away with murder in the classroom? Okay. Oh, yeah. So all the kids are like everybody in the deep state in those agencies, and Bondi and Patel and Trump are the guys coming in like the substitute teacher trying to help us. And that's like, and those guys are like, yeah, we just wait for the teacher and disobey and all kinds of stuff. That's what's happening. So it's like, we the people, it's on us, and the labor is probably daunting and overwhelming. It's almost scary because for generations we've been kind of out to lunch, and now it's coming home to roost in our lives now.
Definitely. So let's talk about the specials in the description box.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to tell a quick story about the oral scans that happened this
The
week.
Dr. Dentist challenge. The NIH says 80 to 90% of all today's infections emanate from biofilms.
My great challenge is for doctors. Why can't you find them? And because with biophotonics, we can now see them in the energy of things. Why can't you find them? And with the NIH saying 80 to 90% of all infections begin with a biofilm. Glaske, one of Schuler's research doctors, Glaske, I think his name is, he says that 97 to 98% of all infections come out of a biofilm today. And so we're not seeing them. Nobody can see them. So my challenge is for doctors to see them. I want to show you a case on screen here. Whoops, wrong ones. Let's see, here it is. I'll call her Marcia. This is what the report looks like, you guys, and then I'll jump to the specials. So it just goes through and it shows everything about your case. And then here is a woman's mouth. When she went to the dentist, he looked and said, your teeth are all fine. They look good, even though these silver fillings are 12, 15 years old. So, of course, all of these red dots indicate biofilm. They're all infected. And then in the report, we show that she has a crown here. And when these little laser dots are showing that there's a biofilm and it's leaking, this is a crown. And then the little squiggle with the circle indicates that it's in the root also, up in the roof of the mouth. So they didn't see this, and she's sick as a dog.
Oh.
Yeah, she's got health issues that we're working out. Now, here's a question. I want to show everybody this one. This is, call him Bruce. So here's a picture right here of his, let me ask you this. Guess where his brain tumor is, you guys. So here's the tooth over here on the bottom, straight up from that tooth, right up here, you can imagine. So this
Right
is the,
side.
yep, right under his right eye and the brain. And this tooth right here, here it is. You can imagine, look how beautiful it looks in the center. Perfect. So the dentist looks at it, he x-rays it, and he goes, it's beautiful, it's great. And the biofilm is all the way up into his sinuses, into his brain, for guess how long, you guys, before we figured this out with an oral scan? 50 years. We pull it out and look at the trauma. The endodontist said this had to be huge trauma to this
Good.
child. Yeah. All this was fractured down into the root, and the root canal was full of pus and leaking, and there was a big cyst out here on the end. And that was this tooth, you guys. Incredible. So why can't we you guys find these biofilms? You can't see them in your x-rays. By the time you see them, they've already been doing damage into the bone and the body. And so like this 50, 60, 7-year-old tech is what's still the modern latest greatest. No, it's not. It's the biophoton is the medicine for the next millennia and maybe forever, because it's based in light. So that guy is wearing a patch all across, his head field for the tumors and stuff. So very exciting, very exciting. So the specials are still related to the oral scans. The number one, I think, is, gosh, I don't even have it in front of me. Do you have it, Michael? I sent it to Tracy Joe, but I don't think I have it.
Yeah, I have the description box. So
It's called
oral
the
kit special, 3
Okay.
intuitive ultra live, 3 intuistat, 2 cardio NF, 1 ultra cleanse clay, 1 intuitive 1, get free honey and EMF harmonizer, $120 for value. So then you go down to collagen and whey special, 2 collagen, 2 whey, 1 intuitive 1, and get EMF harmonizer, free, $70 value. Radiation protocol, that's a fermented cardio NF. You got to have that. It's so easy to take fermented cardio. You just put it in water. It's got a great taste.
It does.
It's got molasses in it, so it's delicious actually. So that's one of the ones you want to be taking every day. Cleanse the gut. So you guys know that I'm an intuitive. You got to have a clean gut, because you get sometimes some of your intuition comes through your gut. You know, where a lot of people talk about that gut feeling. That, something's wrong. I feel it in my gut.
Yes.
If your gut's messed up, you don't get it, because the neurons in your gut, because your gut's a second brain, the neurons are all around your gut. They're not going to interact because you're got all this crap in your gut. So you got to get it clean. So cardio NF will do that.
And think of the 2 places, you guys, that the attack has come from. One is the antibiotics that damages our gut, and then the other is these leaking teeth that continues to damage our gut. And yeah, death begins in the colon, because both of those demolish our gut. That's what the gut kit is about. Yep. You're doing good. Keep going.
Yeah, the gut kit. 2 intuitive microbiome, 2 intuitive fermented beet, 2 intuitive immunity, 1 intuitive clay, excuse me, 1 intuitive collagen, and you get gold honey and get a free harmonizer and pH, the pH little strips. So that's a $90 value. And then the ultimate one is you spend $500, just buy $500 worth of stuff. And you get a free intuitive ultra cleanse clay and a free EMF harmonizer, $180 value free. So you don't have to have a code. You go in the description box, you add all these things, or you get $500 worth of stuff or more, and you're going to get all of this stuff for free. They just put it in the box. I get it all the time. I don't worry about it. I see what the special is. I order it and I get the stuff in the box. It's beautiful.
Appreciate you guys' support. The cell resonance of the nutrition is what we're after. Yeah. Because it's what we did was we took Dr. Pop's work, where when he discovered the DNA was biophotonic, then he determined that the different frequencies of the eye and the brain and the lung and the gut, all these frequencies. So what we did was we took those frequencies of light and went out and matched nutrition frequencies so that we can target different areas of the body. Such a brilliant, beautiful model. And and the Intuitive Medi Body FX is also back for you guys that have been waiting. Thanks for being patient. We got it back. So even I know it still says out in the store, but I'll be getting to the girls and they'll fix that real short order. So
yeah, I'm putting in an order today. While we're talking, I was setting it up. So we get some more collagen and some fermented beet. I'm using that stuff every couple times a day. All it goes in my shakes every time. So it's good.
Beautiful.
Good stuff.
And you guys who might want to get an oral scan, I got 5 more spots left before it closes for at least a season. We're pretty busy, so it's really exciting. So just jump in if you need some help, or even because I want it to eventually be preventative. If you don't have anything wrong and you just want to have a look, it's a good way to go also. So hopefully to see on the inside.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks, Raphael.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you next time.